everybody, welcome to this channel if you're new, welcome back if you're not, and welcome to another writing vlog. It is currently day 21 of 55 of me trying to finish the first draft of my young adult fantasy book. I've been trying to document my journey on TikTok and on YouTube, and if you guys watched my previous writing video, you would know that I've been in the hugest writing slump, but I'm so determined, especially in this writing vlog, to get back to the groove of things, and I think I am starting to kind of get out of my slump. Last night, I did a lot of writing after I made cookies, and I'm kind of hitting this point that I'm really excited about, and it is where Melina and Killian start interacting with each other a lot more. The trials are beginning, the espionage is beginning. And for those of you who are new and don't know what my story is about, my project, which I'm going to call Project Souls, follows Killian and Melina, the two main characters of my book. They are aristocrats slash knights, and they are tasked with investigating the political corruption that's happening in their nation, while also competing in a set of trials that will determine the next counselor. I've had this idea since high school, but I never really acted upon it until recently, and I made a goal for myself to finish the first draft by my birthday slash the end of summer, hence the 55 days. Now we are just a little bit under halfway through, and I am not where I need to be. I'm definitely behind on my goal, which sucks, but I am, again, trying to hopefully get back to the groove of things. And of course, I am going to take you guys along with me. It is currently a Saturday, and right now I have plans with family that I have to go to, but hopefully later I will be able to write. Of course, I'm going to keep you guys updated, but for now, I'll see you guys later. Hello, it is the next day. It is day 22 of 55 of me trying to finish the first draft. I was so busy yesterday that I did not even pick up my laptop, so I have nothing to update you for day 21. But for day 22, I did end up writing a chapter and a half, and it's a chapter and a half that I'm very happy and proud of, so I'm glad that I'm not going to go back and edit it, because we all know that that is a terrible, terrible habit of mine. But as I was writing this, I kind of remembered this small dilemma that I had a while back, and now that I'm thinking about it some more, I'm starting to get a little bit worried, so I thought I would tell you guys. And I'm very open to discussion, I'm very open to opinions, and eventually I would also love to get some alpha readers and beta readers on this as well, just to get their opinions too. But before I get into my dilemma, I need to give you guys more background and more context. If you're a writer or even a reader, then you've definitely have heard this before, and this advice essentially says that it's important to show and not tell. I take this advice very seriously, so I always make sure to show that the characters are nervous or scared or happy instead of telling the audience that they are nervous, scared, or happy. However, if you've been following me on my writing journey, then you may have seen this already. At the beginning of my book, I have a little paragraph, a little epigraph, a little page, if you will, that essentially says that the story that you're about to witness is being told by this character. And this character has compiled this story through first-hand and second-hand accounts, oral histories, and journals. And there's even a line at the end that I put in for fun, and essentially says that although this character has remained wholeheartedly faithful to the truth as it was lived, they may have added a touch of polish to it just to add some more drama. Now, keeping that in mind, when I originally had thought of this idea back in high school, I envisioned this character telling this story on a stage, or telling this story as a bedtime story, essentially telling the story to an audience. And this is where I guess you could say that my dilemma comes in, because in my mind I had envisioned, like, yeah, they're telling this story, there is obviously going to be some parts where it's definitely telling and not showing, but it's not like I'm doing that by accident, like I'm doing this on purpose. Because yes, although this story takes place from Melina and Killian's point of view, and this is their story, they themselves are not actually the ones telling the story. Like, I don't know, like I imagined it a little differently. Like I imagine like you're in an audience listening to somebody on stage, like they're performing a show and the show is this story. But my fear is that people are going to gloss over that paragraph or that page, and they're not going to remember that this is the way that is supposed to be. I feel like I'm very confusing, and I feel like I am making it a lot worse than it sounds. I just don't want to fall into the trap of people thinking that all of my paragraphs that are telling are by accident, or it's like a skill issue, when I actually did it on purpose. So I don't know if I should, rework it a little bit, or maybe just actually show and not tell. But I'm actually going to read you a little excerpt from one of the chapters. This is from Melina's point of view, and for some context, she is dragging up her friend's drunken body back to his bed, and along the way she runs into Killian. So I'm going to read you a little bit of this, and then maybe you can see, but again, I don't know if you should just take it as it is, or if I need to warn you again, like, yeah, you actually need to imagine like someone is telling you this story. Ugh, I am so confusing, but let me just read this. They were not alone. Leaning against the doorframe stood a tall figure, half obscured by the shadow. His arms crossed his chest, and he was stripped of his usual distinguished robe, wearing a crisp white shirt to contrast his dark skin, with a faint stain along one side. Killian Moreau. He crawled up her neck. How long have you been watching? Long enough to question your judgment in friends. His voice was smooth and low. His silver eyes glinted in the dark. I like the ones I currently have, she said, sounding a bit more defensive than she would have liked. Her eyes shifted to Killian, catching a muscle in his jaw twitch, before returning her gaze to the mess before her. She cleared her throat. Gareth is not usually like this. And yet here we are. Her embarrassment sat warm on her cheeks. Melina exhaled through her nose, forcing her focus back to her current friend and away from her old one. She suddenly couldn't recall the last time she and Killian interacted, at least not properly. Once, he had been someone she trusted without hesitation, the only friend she had had in her childhood, the boy that had known all her worries and dreams. But then came the year of his brother's deaths and the rumors that followed. At the same time, whispers of her failure as a soul keeper after her ascension day clung to her like a second shadow. Melina was no stranger to gossip, and she knew very well that even gossip had some truth to it. Besides, it was hard not to believe any of it, especially since Killian had gone silent, retreating to his province with a new High Keeper title and a reputation to go with it. Eventually, letters stopped and seasons passed. Somewhere along the way, they became less than strangers. Two tarnished reputations would only dull each other further. Ignoring Killian's comment, she attempted to hoist Gareth from the ground. He was fast asleep now. I'm sorry. I hope we weren't bothering your activities. Was there something you needed? Instead of answering, Killian stepped forward and with a lift of his palm, summoned a gentle current of Soulkeeper magic beneath Gareth's body, lifting him enough that the pressure eased from her frame. Melina staggered, almost startled. You don't need to help him. I've got it. Clearly. Okay, now that I've read that, do you guys kind of see what I mean? Like, there are definitely some parts in here that I am telling, but it's on purpose. But I'm definitely telling the audience, like, yes, Killian and Melina, they used to be friends back in the day. They're not friends anymore. And that's an example of telling rather than showing. But I just want to also emphasize that that is not the way it is throughout the story. Like, definitely there's going to be some more parts at the beginning that is telling because I'm introducing the story, or the narrator is introducing this story. But it's not going to be like that throughout the rest of the book. But again, I am afraid that people may skip that front page, so they just think that I am info dumping on everybody, which I guess you could say that I am, but I don't know how to explain this little dilemma, but I really hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Definitely and eventually I'm going to get some alpha readers in here to read the beginning drafts of it just to see if they have issues with it. That is just what I am currently dealing with or thinking about, but we'll see if I change anything. And if I do change it, at least it will only be towards the beginning chapters because the narrator is introducing the story and the context. Anyways, that was very long-winded. I hope I wasn't very confusing though. I'm going to get back to writing and hopefully see you later. Long time no see. It is currently day 25 of 55. Oh my gosh, it is day 25 of 55. Saying that out loud sounds so surreal because one, I cannot believe it's been 25 days since I started this little challenge of mine. But then two, admittedly, I am very behind on my goal because now I only have 30 days until I need to finish my work in progress, which that countdown is very, very scary to me. I actually haven't picked up my laptop in a hot second now. Don't really know why. I think I'm in a little bit of a writing slump, or I'm trying to get out of my writing slump. On top of that, I was also in a little bit of a reading slump, but I just finished a book. I finished reading Made for Each Other by Lynn Painter, which is my first ever Lynn Painter book. Also, it is a romance, so it has nothing to do with fantasy, and I'm such a big advocate for reading the same genre that you're writing in. But you know what? I had a fun time. I think I'm slowly coming out of my book slump, which is good, because when I'm out of my book slump, I think that I'll be better off when it comes to writing, because at least I'll be back in the zone, maybe. Or at least that's what I'm hoping. Fingers crossed. Now, you guys did see me write a little bit, but I wasn't writing any new chapters or anything. I was just going back and tweaking some of my previous chapters. Long story short, I don't know what I was thinking. I was being a little stupid in some of my previous chapters. I guess at the beginning of the story, I was thinking of one certain thing. And then towards the more recent chapters that I was writing, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go change it. Which I don't know why I decided to do that, because I had this quick revelation last night that I shouldn't have done that. So I just went back, I fixed everything up. So everything is where it needs to be. The only thing that isn't where it needs to be right now is my word count. It is currently 10:30. I'm actually going to go exercise exercise right now because I feel like when I'm on the treadmill, I just feel like I get a sense of clarity. I feel very calm, and hopefully some ideas will spring to me or my motivation for writing will come back. And then after I take a shower, I'll spend the remainder of the night, you know, writing, hopefully. I feel like getting out of a writing slump is much harder than getting out of a reading slump, for me at least. So right now it is not fun, but I'm actually heading into very interesting chapters, so I'm excited for it. A little bit of a spoiler-ish, but Melina and Killian are finally interacting a lot more, I would say. I'm at the chapter where Melina, she's practicing her magic and she accidentally tumbles something over and it makes a loud crash, and Killian wakes up and he thinks that basically the first challenge has started because he's just like that. So he rushes throughout the entire fortress and he sees Melina and he's like, are you serious? Like, this was the crash? I thought that the first challenge had started. And of course, them being childhood friends who kind of turned into strangers, he's like, oh, I should leave. This is not my problem. But for some reason, I don't leave. I'm at that part right now. Sorry if that was a spoiler, but I feel like it's fun to share some details about my work in progress from time to time. I think I've gotten to a point where I'm a lot more open because I know at the very beginning when I was sharing my work in progress, I did not open up about anything, and that was mainly out of fear of just, I don't know, it was just out of fear, period. But also one of it was out of fear that someone would steal my ideas, or it would be out of fear that people didn't think that it was good. But anyways, I am excited about that. I'm currently writing it and they're interacting a lot more, and you get to see both of their personalities and how they complement but also clash each other. You know what? Talking about it out loud makes me motivated to write again, which is a good thing. But anyways, I'm going to go exercise and then I'm going to get back to writing, and hopefully I'll give you guys another update soon. Hello, it is day 33. It is very late. It's actually midnight right now. But I just reached one of my most anticipated scenes. We are at the first challenge of my trial. There's so much action right now. It is from Melina's point of view, and I'm about to switch over to Killian's point of view because I just finished the chapter. In one sitting, I wrote 2,387 words, which is so good because I've been in such a huge writing slump. But once I started going, I could not stop because I'm telling you, I've been waiting for this trial for the longest time. And to think, this isn't even my most anticipated trial. I have another trial, which will be the third trial, that I am so excited for this one. Now, I have not been writing as much, but I have been reading a lot, and I feel like reading a lot, especially books that I do like, kind of gets me back into the zone for writing. So hopefully this weekend I'll be able to get back to my writing groove, especially because I'm at chapters that I absolutely adore. Oh, I don't even know how to explain it. I'm just so excited about this trial, and I wish I could tell you about it, or at least this first challenge. There are 3 challenges within the whole trial, if that makes sense, and then there's like a finale, but I'm just so excited for this. I love writing this, and I hope people can feel the adrenaline and feel the thrill through the screen, or I guess through the books and the pages. I'm gonna go to bed now because I do have to go to work in the morning, but I just had to update you because we finally officially started challenge 1. Let me tell you guys something. When it comes to writing, being in the shower and going on late night drives, it could be a good thing and it could also be a bad thing. A good thing because I do some of my best brainstorming work when I'm in the shower or when I am going on late night drives. Like, I am telling you, probably 80% of all of my ideas, whether that be ideas for my current work in progress or other story ideas, it always comes to me when I'm in the shower or when I'm going on a drive. So yeah, that is a good thing. Until it doesn't become a good thing, because I would get so many story ideas to the point where sometimes it would conflict with what I already have written. So I finished writing the challenge about 2 days ago, and last night I was in the shower and I suddenly started thinking of another idea for the challenge rather than the one that I already have, which obviously is not a good thing because I already wrote it. And I have a terrible habit of just going back and editing the same thing, and so I refuse to do that again. So I've come up with a solution. My solution, and I've seen many authors do this as well, is to just have an extra separate document that notes all the things and all the changes that you want to make. So anytime I have an idea that may conflict with what I already have written, I'm just going to include it in that document for when it's time to go and make my edits and actually do my revisions and I'm done with the first draft. Then I could go back, revisit that document that has all of these other extra ideas, and then see if I really truly want that in my book. I don't know why, I just felt like I had to share that. getting comfy because I have a feeling I'm about to ramble. It is currently day 35 of 55, which is so crazy to say out loud, and I feel like every single time I do a day count, I'm saying the exact same thing, that it's so crazy. But it really is, because now that we hit the 35 day mark, number one, I cannot believe that that much time has already passed, and number two, I cannot believe that I have 20 days left in my countdown. I won't even lie to you, I am a little bit concerned. Actually, not even a little bit, I am a lot concerned. I'm worried that I will not finish the first draft, and of course I'm never going to say never, and I'm going to write as much as I possibly can, but I do feel like if I had all the hours of the day, I would be able to get this first draft done. But considering the fact that I do work a 9 to 5 and I have a social life or other commitments that I need to attend, that just makes it a little more difficult to go and try to finish the first draft in 20 days. So I am worried, but again, I'm going to try to write as much as I possibly can. As I've mentioned, we finished the first challenge, which takes place in a lake, and we are in the aftermath scene at the moment. This alternates between Killian and Melina, my two main characters, and right now I guess you could say they're having their aha moment, their realization moment. In a way, they're realizing like, yes, these challenges are no joke and I do need to step up my game. So they're having that moment right now while also cleaning themselves up, getting ready for the night. Last night I did not do any writing, but I did spend a majority of my night confirming my research. I'm gonna use the word confirming because I already had an idea and I already did my primary research when I first started this book, but I wanted to get a confirmation on my notes just to make sure that what I had thought and what I had originally researched still rings true. You know, I guess you could say that's just like a backup, like just another confirmation. Now what I mean by this is I'm actually talking about not only the world building, but also the character building. Now world building, I think I've got down pat and square because I love world building. That's one of the main things I think of when I think of a book. So world building, I do think that I'm okay, but character building, I always want to make sure that I am representing my characters correctly, which is why I think that research is so important. I honestly think that research is one of the biggest foundations you have to build your story on when you are starting a new story. You need to research a lot of things to make sure that your book is good and accurate. And one of the things that I was researching last night is just, I guess you could say, physical descriptions. Now my main character Melina, she is Asian, or she is from countries that are inspired by countries in Asia. Of course this is a fantasy world, so the countries we have in Asia are not going to translate over to this fantasy world, but I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. And now obviously, right, me, I feel like I could write Melina pretty well, especially when it comes to, you know, her taking care of herself, like simple things like going to the shower or what it's like to tan in the sun, things like that. I could write her pretty well because I am also Asian. I don't know why I just worded it like that, but you guys know what I mean. I'm able to draw from my own experiences and put it into Melina. But see, Killian, on the other hand, that is a different story, and I cannot draw really from a lot of my physical appearance experiences and put that into Killian. I'm very, I guess you could say, sensitive and making sure that I am giving Killian accurate representation. I've done so much research on Killian, and so if we're zoning in specifically on the aftermath, he right now is having his, you know, internal thoughts, thinking about the challenge, thinking about what he wants to do in the future. But also he had just, you know, taken a shower and he is just cleaning himself off so he could go and attend this dinner because of course he was literally swimming in a really dirty lake. Killian, of course, does not have the same hair type as my hair type, and the way I've written it, I've made sure to try to, I guess you could say, accurately reflect it. Oh, I think someone is texting me. Hold on. Okay, my friend is texting me on something, so I need to speed this up a little bit, but I just think that research is so important. I've been trying to make sure that Killian has good representation. I know that, you know, when he goes into this water, his hair will be elongated a little bit, and then when he gets out, he dries, his hair will shrink. I know that he needs to take proper care of his hair, especially being in such a cold, dry environment because they live in the mountains. So of course our modern day products, we don't have that in a fantasy world, so I am going to try to make sure that there's some substitute to it. And of course, while I'm talking about any of this, if anybody has any input or have some insight on it, like, I am so open to any type of discussion about it because I am always willing to learn. I'm always willing to improve myself and make sure that people are represented. That is the whole reason why I feel like I have a diverse cast in my thing, because I want to make sure that not only people are represented, but also it does make sense for the story too. I'm not just doing it for like brownie points or anything. Like, it makes sense with my story once I explain it. Also, number two is coming from a POC, I love to see representation when I'm reading books, and I want to be that representation for other people as well. So I'm always open to discussion. I'm always open to like making making sure that people have that accurate representation. I will never try to portray someone incorrectly. But that is my whole spiel on the research. I had my notes and ideas before, but that was just me confirming it and making sure so that when I'm writing Killian taking care of himself, his hair, and just having his inner thoughts, like I'm making sure that I'm doing it correctly. This little comfy chat will have to be cut short because my friend is pestering me outside at the moment, but hopefully I'll be able to write a little bit later. Of course, I'm going to keep you guys updated. Hello, I have to go really soon, but I had a thought and I wanted to share it. Last night as I was writing, I ran into an observation, and that observation being that Melina is, how would I put it, a constant complainer. Okay, I feel like that's kind of bad to say, but I feel like she's, for lack of better words, has fallen into like a victim mentality, which is not bad at all. I mean, considering her circumstances and considering all the high stakes and how each one of her actions has very deep consequences, like I totally get it. But I'm also fearing that the reader may think that it is very, very annoying. But again, it does make complete sense because this entire time Melina has been off living in her province, you know, just doing her daily duties and responsibilities, but then now she's thrown into a whole world where she is constantly pitted up against other members in the order. She's being compared, which she already had to deal a lot with beforehand, but now even more so. Again, my fear is just that readers will find that annoying. So I think my goal for today, I actually have to go out right now really, really soon. I have my purse like on me right now, but I think my goal for today, like later when I come back, is to kind of fix it up a little, not completely eliminate that part because I still think that that is very crucial to her character development, but kind of lighten it a bit, like ease it up a bit. Because one thing about Melina, although she does compare herself, she's still actually a really confident person, or at least outward facing. She's very confident and she puts up a mask. At least just not make it too complainy. But we're gonna see what I do with that, because if I think it fits Melina's character, I'm gonna keep it. Ask me how excited I am. I'm in the parking lot right now and it's extremely hot, so I'll try to be quick, but I'm about to head into the city to go to the DC book convention. And I'm telling you right now, I'm there for one goal and one goal only, to meet Tahiri Mafi. I do have both of her books right here and I want her to sign them so bad because easily this Woven Kingdom, that series, has become one of my favorite books, and all I want to do is go meet her, say hi, say thank you for creating such an amazing world, and just have her sign my books and hopefully get a photo. So I went and I attended Rebecca Yaros's end of session convention. Like, she did a whole speech and it was really, really fun. It was fun to listen to. Hopefully I'll be able to have just as much fun this time, but I better get going because I do not want to be late. Last year, lines to get your book signed, it was like stretching throughout the entire warehouse. It was crazy and I don't want to be late, so let's get going. I genuinely cannot be happier. Look at this. Oh my gosh. This was totally worth the wait. I waited an hour and a half early in line. The signing started at 2 o'clock. I was there at 12:45, and even getting there at 12:45, I was put in line C. And Tahiri Mafi, she was signing pretty quickly. Like, she was going through line A, line B, and she was only supposed to sign up until 3 o'clock, but then I think she went overtime by a lot because I didn't get up there until 3:30-ish. So she was definitely going overtime, and I wish I was able to get a picture with her, but because she was going overtime and another author was going to be in her station, I totally understand that she was not doing any photos. I'm just super, super happy though that I was able to sign and that I was able to meet her and just like say hello and just, I'm so speechless. And I was also very, very speechless as well when I met her because I was like, hi, like, I don't even know what to say right now. I think there were about 25 people behind me, and unfortunately everybody else in the other lines, they weren't able to get signatures from Tahiri Mafi or be able to hop in line for her, so I kind of feel bad for them, but totally understandable because authors only have an allotted time to go sign. I'm just really, really happy though that I was able to meet her because I only went to that book convention for one thing and one thing only, and it was to meet Tahiri Mafi. I think I'm going to be on cloud 9 for the rest of the weekend because I'm just so happy. The lighting is absolutely crazy right now, but it's been a couple of days. My writing has been very slow and steady, which I don't know if that is the best of updates, but as of today, we have less than 2 weeks until my deadline, which is crazy to say. Of course, I do have my doubts and concerns, but I am happy that I'm trudging along nonetheless. With it only being 2 weeks left, I think I'm going to end the video here. All of my socials will be linked down below if you'd like to follow me, and as always, thank you so much for following this journey, for all your love and support, because I do read a lot of the comments and you guys are so sweet. We've made it this far into the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I do hope to see you in the next one. Bye!